Special thanks for participating in our opening question. I saw a couple of you with Bandcamp and the music and clothes and all of that kind of stuff. For me, what I really enjoy now more than I did before, because I too used to love getting new clothes when I was younger and going to school, but now I love the my community is Shaker Heights, Ohio, and I love what we do to welcome our educators back to school for their first day. What we do is we provide a little mini pep rally, and the drum line that you just heard actually welcomes all of the educators back. They have a big assembly and they go through sort of the drum line and they're all drumming. And I just think it's a lot of pep and fun and hype and really kind of an exciting way to kick off the school year. And hence the drumming music for today, which is why I really wanted to make sure we got to hear that, because that actually was the Shaker Heights Marching Band's drum line. And they were kicking off a really good year for our educators. And to me, the August Power Hour is really a great way to kick off our Power Hour year. So welcome everyone to a new year, new information, new content, new great learning opportunities, and we welcome all of you. A couple of housekeeping notes. We are recording this, as you heard, and we are going to be sending this recording to you in a follow-up email, so be on the lookout for that. Feel free to ask any kinds of questions you want during the call. I do try, or during the session, I do try to keep these to 1 hour, but I am always willing to stay on late and longer and answer any of your questions that we might not have had the opportunity to get to. Helping me monitor this chat is the team from YEI. You'll notice all of us with our fancy YEI backgrounds, so you can DM us if you need. Let's see what other, I think we've covered all the housekeeping, but if not, put it in the chat. Today, we are going to be talking about lessons, big, like full year lessons and half year curriculum, and small, like ones done in a day or a class period. There are many, many ways that educators can find and create lessons. Today, we're going to explore what is available to you that will help bring the entrepreneurial mindset and skill set to students. Specifically, we're going to touch on resources that are available in YIPPEE. Scott Mann, the Director of Education and Training at VentureLab, is going to be speaking with us. And I know that he has enough content on lesson plans and planning for a full Power Hour, filling up the entire hour. But today we're limiting him just to a short little 8 minutes. Then Cathy Nicholson is a classroom technology integration specialist for Cuyahoga Falls High School. And she is going to be talking about her lesson plan that she created using the curriculum and the materials from Scott's organization, VentureLab. We'll then move on to Brandy Newry, who is a training specialist at Empowered. Empowered is a fantastic organization, and much like VentureLab, has a lot of curriculum that you can use for lesson and lesson planning. And she is going to be sharing some of that today. Tim Zahn is a second grade educator in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District's school, the Halley School of Inquiry, and he will share his lesson unit using 2 different YIPPEE resources. And finally, Dr. Annette Krotowski is the Director of Research Center for Educational Technology at Kent State University, and she is going to be speaking about a unique opportunity for a fall course involving lesson plans. So we're going to move on now to the first agenda item, which is me sharing my screen and talking just really quickly about YIPPEE and how to find some of these lessons. Excuse me. I'm going to go over this pretty quickly, and I hope you can see. Can I get a thumbs up that you guys can see my YIPPEE screen? Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to go over this super quickly, but again, I will be happy to stay on the call later this afternoon around 5 and go over this in more detail. YIPPEE is an online platform where educators can come and shop for all types of different resources that help further the entrepreneurial mindset and skill set. Everything on YIPPEE has been curated to make sure that we get to those characteristics of an entrepreneur, like problem solving and creativity and resourcefulness and grit and persistence and collaboration and communication and all those wonderful activities and skills that actually span over different sort of silos of more traditional English or math or science. You can find all these types of different resources here, including curriculum. And curriculum is a great way to start with your lesson planning. To start with, you need to register on yippee.exchange. And once you register, you'll be taken to this homepage. I'm currently logged in as an educator, so you will see exactly what I see if your filters are set the same way mine are. And right now, mine are set to view all the different products. So if I was looking for lessons or lesson plans or curriculum on YIPPEE, I would come and pick my grade. Let's say I'm 7th grade. And then I would also look at perhaps classroom time, but I would for sure come to this category here, curriculum. And it's going to take a second because whenever I'm on Zoom, it takes a little bit of time to catch up. But I'm going to pick my curriculum planning. And then I'm going to be taken over to this side of the screen, which will have limited or funneled or filtered all of the different resources that we have on YIPPEE that have curriculum. We also have individual lesson plans that we're going to get into later, and you can see those by logging in, filtering to your different products. And I'm just going to show you this particular product, which is my pitch challenge. I'm going to go into it and show you that this particular resource has lesson plans and where you can find those lesson plans. So if you arrow down once you're on the product section or the resource itself and you keep arrowing down, you will see right here that this product has 5 different lesson plans that have been created by educators for everyone who is a registered YIPPEE user to use. It also has reviews and other elements, but we're not getting into that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew how to find curriculum and lesson plans on YIPPEE. I know I went quickly, but I'll be happy to stay on and talk later and show you a little bit more about any specific questions or make sure I answer all your questions at that time. For now, I'm going to turn it back over to Scott Mann from VentureLab, who's going to talk in specific about this one product or this one storefront, many products that VentureLab has on YIPPEE. So Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. Start my 8-minute timer and I'll pass it over to an amazing educator that's going to fill you in on her detail work. I'm the Director of Education with VentureLab. We're a K-12 youth serving and adult serving organization, creating the next generation of those diverse innovators and change makers that are those amazing students in all of our in and out of school time programs. I'm going to jump around a little bit, and I want to actually begin with a timely opportunity that's on the periphery of YIPPEE, but Ohio specific. And we have a mentorship and materials program that we are thankfully supported by the Burton D. Morgan Foundation. And they have allowed us to invite youth from all of Ohio, not just Northeast Ohio, but all of Ohio, to participate in this event, which is up to $500 in materials and 4 months of one-to-one mentorship where students set SMART goals to make gains on a business idea or an existing business. And then they actually have a mindset goal that they set as well, those personal character developments. So if you know any students, know any families or educators, please share this with them. We would appreciate it. The other timely piece here is, Robin, what's the name of the theme of our piece here? Entrepreneurship in the classroom, yeah?
Lessons to bring entrepreneurship into your classroom, yes.
So we just put out 3 strategies to make your classroom entrepreneurial and run smoothly. So I dropped the link. You can share that, check that out later. But thinking about the word entrepreneurship and this last piece about moderating the entrepreneurial mindsets, and that the most entrepreneurial people I know are the educators, are those adults in the room that are empathizing with their students, creatively problem solving, adapting to the craziness that is the education system, and being resourceful with what they have to really create meaningful learning experiences for their youth and to bring this way of entrepreneurial thinking to them. And these are these entrepreneurial mindsets that you will be able to see and find in YIPPEE, thankful to YEI and their creation, as I close my tabs here, of the YIPPEE platform. So Robin gave you kind of an overview of how to get into that. I'm going to sharing screen here. You have on the left-hand side a navigation that will allow you to filter by all kinds of amazing things. And one of them is by provider. VentureLab, alphabetical order, we're down here toward the bottom. You can find a variety of not just curriculum, but also activities and resources with 0 points up to 50 points from our topics and entrepreneurship curriculum. You can think of this as a library that you walk into, and each one of these is a book you can pull off the shelf. This is the title, and within there are chapters or activities that you can engage your students on and really integrate and fold into existing core academic content or enrichment that you already have. It's a great way to bring in, as Kelly says, these are little bites, little nuggets that you can use to either introduce entrepreneurship, design thinking, or if you want to dive in to the business side, you can find activities around market research, business model, and pitching. And one of the things that we focus on at VentureLab is making sure there's content for the early learners. So we actually have this for grades 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, 12. And we do our best to make it fun and engaging for the early learners all the way up to the old folks up in high school. One of our, turns out, most popular products here on the YIPPEE store are our mindset cards. So clicking into here, this is a 0 point value. The mindset cards are a way to give that gift of identity, validating a student or even the adults and your peers with what you observe, those qualities in them that we want to grow, that empathy, problem solving, and creativity. And the cards have on them definitions and then activity or discussion prompts and different ways you can engage the students with that. And we have in our midst an entrepreneur, an amazing educator, Cathy, who has taken the initiative. She's been that change maker and actually created value for her students by leveraging the resources on YIPPEE, and one of those being VentureLab. And you can open and download and access her work. And when you're in there, you'll see how I'll let her explain all this, but you can find access back to YIPPEE to get those mindset cards. So I think I did well under 8 minutes. Thank you for your time, everyone. Robin?
Scott, wait a second. I'm actually going to ask you to go just a tad bit longer. Can you just sort of explain what VentureLab does as an organization?
That is a
just
great.
In case we have some people on the call who are not familiar with what VentureLab does and who you are.
100%. VentureLab.org. Go to our website, VentureLab. We create experiences and support and programs for educators in school and out of school time to be able to bring entrepreneurial learning to anyone that is trying to get that experience to youth. So we have a series of professional development opportunities, coaching and modelings, those organizations and schools that interact with our various programs, such as Idea to Pitch or Entrepreneurship plus Agriculture. We give them detailed support, custom schedules in ways that they can really adapt that same mindset and flexibility in the implementation of their programs.
Excellent. And you service K to 12, right?
Correct. K-12, in school, out of school time, nationally, and fortunate to have international partners as well. Lots of great people out there doing great work.
Great. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we all knew about that. So luckily, one of the products on YIPPEE has a lesson plan. One of VentureLab's products has a lesson plan, and we have an educator here, Cathy Nicholson, who is going to talk a little bit about what she did and why she did it and kind of walk us through her lesson plan. And Cathy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Excellent. Thank you. I was, when I was looking through the resources, the mindset cards were the one that really stood out to me, because it's something that we're always trying to do at the high school level, is to get the students thinking and trying to change their mindset and prepare them for the outside world. And coming from an entrepreneurial background myself, having run a marketing and design company, my husband was involved in restaurants. I've done a lot of, business and entrepreneurial things over the years. I was really excited about this product. I tied it in with the junior achievement product, but it can actually be tied in with any of the others. As you go through it basically, I go through and I introduce the whole concept of entrepreneurship, what it is, and then you go into talking about the mindset. And again, those cards, what's nice about the cards is they, as you saw with Scott, is they show you a variety of different things and definitions of what they are. So you can go through those cards with the students, and I would have a general discussion with the students. And then I'd talk in more detail about the why entrepreneurs, give examples of entrepreneurs, but the cards themselves can be printed out. So you can print those cards and hand them out to the students. And I would do it in small groups, like one or two, like in pairs type thing, and give them only a couple of the cards, one or two of them, and have them go through and try the different activities just to get them thinking and coming up with answers, and then sharing with everybody, which gets them going through. So for instance, if we're looking at the different cards, for instance, one of them is sort of overcoming adversity as they go through that. Well, one of the things there is, hey, you don't have any bread. How are you going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And it's trying to get them just thinking outside of the box and trying to be a little more creative. And from there, we'd go on and continue on with some other entrepreneurship lessons in terms of the mindset and going through. And my lesson plan actually has a few other junior achievement lessons, because they have a 3 set of lessons that can be used as well. I would also look to, like with these cards, my plan is actually to use them in this lesson as an introductory stage, but then I'd like to use them on a weekly or every 2 weeks, and have a day like where that's sort of our bell ringer type activity, is giving them a card and having them kind of do that activity to sort of keep it in their mindset. Because I think that's the important thing about this, is it's not just a one and done. It's being able to use it continually to really get them thinking and changing how their mindset works. And I'd even challenge the students to come up with their own activities and their own challenges that people, to make them think about that as well. And that's kind of where I sort of see those cards as being just a great resource as we're going through.
Excellent. Yeah, it seems like you're taking the ideas that are on the cards and actually challenging your students to be entrepreneurs themselves in your lesson itself. So I think that's a great sort of circle there. I think it's fantastic. And thank you for taking the time to create the lesson plan around this product. I know we appreciate it. I know it's it's a very popular product on YIPPEE, and to be able to offer at least one, I think there's already 2 lesson plans around that for high schoolers, is certainly a very welcome addition to all of the other types of resources that you have on YIPPEE, including the reviews, and now you have lesson plans. So it really makes it well-rounded. So thank you, Cathy, really appreciate that. Just want to stop real quickly, make sure I didn't miss anything over in the chat. Okay. We did not. So if you guys do have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will make sure we get those to everyone and talk about those. I'm going to introduce Brandy Newry now. Brandy is a training specialist for the organization Empowered, and I know she's going to tell us all about Empowered and what she does with Empowered. But I think it's important to note that she is a former school psychologist. She has been at Ground Zero and understands the pressures that are on educators, and understands the pressures that are on students, and I think comes to entrepreneurial learning and teaching with a very unique background, and one that is benefiting us all with her going out and doing some training. So Brandy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Robin. Hello, and good afternoon to everyone. My name's Brandy Newry, and I'm a training specialist with Empowered. I am going to quickly sum up what we do here at Empowered. We support teachers with tools, with training, and support to build experiential classrooms. And we do that through our learning strategy, which is called Principles, Markets, and Mindsets. I forgot I had a very nice PowerPoint, so I'm just going to pull that up here. I worked on this morning, so you're gonna get.
I love it. It's so colorful.
So I mentioned experiential classrooms. So that's kind of the message here on my first slide. Again, like I said, we do this by supporting teachers with tools, training, and support to build experiential classrooms. We do this through our instructional strategy, which is called Principles plus Markets equals Mindset. And the two people who have spoken before me have hit hard on that mindset piece. So we're just here to join that bandwagon. With that, we talk about principles, markets, mindset. So I'm going to break that down real quick here. Our principles, these are our foundational principles that we believe in here at Empowered, and that we integrate into all of our activities. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about those in just a second, but we have a library of activities that bring out a lot of these foundational principles, which ultimately, right, lead to this entrepreneurial mindset. And when and if you kind of get involved with us at Empowered, you're going to receive a poster and a bookmark that has all of these foundational principles on there, but then as well as the definitions that we use for those. And then you can take those definitions into some of the activities. I'll review very briefly one or two of those activities before I go. So we talk about those are the principles. I mean, then we talk about the market, right? And a lot of times people hear this word market and they automatically think, about economics and the stock market. And what we try to drive home at Empowered is that a market is where we are right now. Like us being together here on this Zoom call, we've created a market where we're exchanging knowledge for time. Some of us might be, exchanging, we find ourselves throughout the day exchanging goods and services and time and money and attention and energy. So everywhere we go is a marketplace. And so we talk about a real world market and how we can simulate that in our classrooms, where students are, exchanging their time for knowledge. And so then we talk about how that gets into the mindset. And this is we could probably talk for hours about a table that looks like this, right? But what happens when someone faces a challenge, when they have a fixed mindset versus a growth and then an entrepreneurial mindset? And so we believe at Empowered, once you take those principles, you implement those principles and that principled behavior in a market. And if that market is your classroom, or if that market is, when these students leave your classroom, then that leads to this growth and entrepreneurial mindset. I talked a little bit about our activities, and where you can find all of our activities are on our Empowered Hub. And this is where this is kind of a bit of our, dare I say, social media site. It's not very social media driven, but if you look at it, we've got a news feed, right? We've got a place where teachers talk and say, hey, I really want to do an activity on the first day of school that gets at X, Y, and Z, or how have you all done this particular activity, but with a smaller group? And so teachers are on here talking all day long about ideas they want to implement and ideas they have to share. On the hub, there is also a place for you to request and receive a startup kit from us. And that startup kit has, I don't know if you can see me still, when your background is blurred, some things don't always come out clearly, but you'd receive our field guide. I'm going to talk about this in just a little bit. You'll receive a $25 gift card to go out and buy some of the materials that it takes to implement some of our activities in your classroom. You will receive what we call a foundational principles beach ball. And it's just a quick activity that you can get started with your kids. You blow it up. Our foundational principles are on the beach ball. You throw it around the classroom, and whichever principal that the student's thumbs land on, and they've got to give an example or of a time in their life that they displayed that principled behavior or what they believe the definition of that principle to be. And so here, this QR code can take you to that if you want to scan it while you're here. If not, remember or take a picture. Remember that website, and you can go on this empoweredhub.org and learn more about what we offer there on our website. So I mentioned our activity library. We've got a lot of first day of school activities, right? We know what the teachers are looking for. And so right there at the top of our feed on the Empowered Hub in the activity library, there are some first day of school activities. We've got the ink blot. Can you see the picture, talking about vision for our classroom or building a culture in our classroom, and how we all might see this classroom as 15 different moving pieces, but as long as we have the vision and the direction that we're going to go in this classroom this semester or this school year. So you can pull out a lot of different culture components, classroom culture components from that activity. We've got the bridge crossing conundrum, one of my favorite, just a problem solving activity on how you're going to get everybody across the bridge with a torch. And you got 15 minutes. So the foundational principles playlist is one of our newest activities, and it is a hot ticket item at our conferences this summer. So it's about how it sounds. We've got all of our principals, and we ask kids to go out and find their school appropriate music that illustrates each one of our principles. So the kids love it, the adults love it. It's been a hit. Again, on the hub, the resources, we've got, again, I mentioned the startup kit, the community feed, we've got virtual PD, on-demand PD. By virtual, I mean, on the first Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock, we're on there, facilitating some sort of PD that's typically led by teachers. Or we have on-demand PD where some things are pre-recorded and teachers can go out there and look at it and take it all in at your convenience. The PMM overlay tool and reflective guide, I wanted to just touch on that a little bit in case we had anybody on the call that doesn't teach these classes where entrepreneurship kind of seamlessly works into their content. Our PMM overlay tool allows us and allows educators to take our instructional strategy and use it across all content areas, not just business or entrepreneurship or marketing class. And so the overlay tool just kind of asks you to reflect on some of your lesson components, such as what experiential elements can I bring to this lesson? How are my students motivated to contribute in my class? And so you get to work through some of those reflective components and then see how you can fit that into English or math, science, social studies. I would say that our activities bode very well with standards that are related to life and career skills, social emotional learning and character development, speaking and listening, problem solving. You're talking about cultural and social norms, choices, of course, life choices that students make, CTE, business. And so everything you find on the Empowered Hub and all the training that we can offer you, again, that fits very well into those content areas. The PMM field guide for teachers is on YIPPEE, and these are our offerings. So we've got the PMM field guide, which I just shared with you. And in this, it of course goes much deeper into like the history and our timeline at Empowered and how far we've come since 1991. And then all of our principles and deeper dives in that real world examples and definitions of our principles and how you can make your classroom market come to life. And then we've got Disrupt Us that is also on YIPPEE, and that is an innovative thinking activity where students are challenged to take a common everyday item and transform that item into another purpose, improve the design of that item, or take parts of that item and then recreate a whole new object from that item. And so it gives them the opportunity again to think outside the box, and no idea is, as I say, we always encourage wild ideas at Empower. So it just gives the students an opportunity to be creative and kind of silly and think outside the box and potentially come up with a great product. Our resources on YIPPEE are free. They don't require you to trade any of your points. And so I think it could be worth your time to check us out and see what we can offer you. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Excellent, Brandy. Thank you so much. Would it be fair to say that the Disruptus is something that you can do in one class period? You know, like it's a one lesson kind of event?
Absolutely. You can do it in one class. And one thing, I'm kind of glad you asked that question, because you can buy a Disruptus game and use it that way. And you can use a Disruptus game, and you can find it on Amazon or Target. But then our activity guide, which is on YIPPEE, it already has, how do I say, you don't have to purchase anything. There's a printout and there's a sheet where you can do these, find these common items, and it has the challenge already written on it. So you don't necessarily have to purchase the game, if you will. On our activity library, we've got some printouts for you.
Gotcha. Thank you. Well, thank you. I loved learning a little bit more about the curriculum and the lesson plans that you guys offered. So thank you for sharing those with us. I'm going to turn it over now to a second grade educator with CMSD, which is the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. Tim Zahn is an educator at the Halley School of Inquiry. And unlike Cathy, who had like one general lesson plan, or Scott or Brandy, who sort of had either year long or half year long or snidbits, Tim has created his lesson plan that is more of a unit, which includes 2 or 3 different resources. So I tried to make sure that we had a little bit of everything here today, a little bit of high school, a little bit of elementary school, you know, big and small. And I'm going to say that Tim is really in the what I call medium category. So Tim, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share your lesson plan, your specific lesson plan for second graders.
Thanks, Robin. I'm here today at my school. It's our first day back. The kids come back on Monday, but it's our first day back for the teachers. So I'm sitting in my empty classroom after being done at 4 o'clock today. All right, so some context here. I am a second grade intervention specialist, and I wanted to give, before doing the lessons, I wanted to give some context for how I created these lessons. So again, this is taking place at a, sorry about that. Where'd that go? This is taking place at a school called the Halley School of Inquiry on the west side of Cleveland. And 2 events are going to happen. It's three lesson plans. So I'm envisioning a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday is an intro to entrepreneurship, which does not feature a YIPPEE product, but the following 2 do include a YIPPEE product. So, and then the second unit is for using Marissa, who does an interactive story time. And then our third big experiential field trip will be to the Shaker Rocks and Shaker Heights for a rock climbing event. All my lesson plans feature the three things that I think are important to have. One is the Bloom's taxonomy, from the simplest level of remembering things to creating. Also, Webb's depth of knowledge, the 4 levels of questioning, and Howard Gardner's 8 principles of learning. We know that all learners, regardless of high school or kindergarten, we have a preference for learning, whether it be visual, auditory, intrapersonal, interpersonal, and these are included in the lesson plans as well. And that's some of the context for this event. Again, the YIPPEE 2, lesson 2 has YIPPEE speaker Marissa and their interactive storytelling, and YIPPEE 3, lesson 3 has a YIPPEE product for Shaker Rocks. Since I have a co-teacher who's left for the day, but we'll have a whole new group of kids as of Monday, so we don't know the number of kids will be going or the kids that will be going. I'm targeting these lesson plans for mid to late October of this year here at the school. The number of kids going to the Shaker Rocks will depend on their return permission slips. So that's some of the context. The first lesson is really about intro to entrepreneurship. Keeping in mind that these kids are second graders in an urban setting. I'm guessing most of them have never heard the word entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. And let me back up. We're going to talk about these standards are based on the social studies standards for second grade, based on the economic strand, where they're talking about production and consumption of markets where people use money to buy and sell products, sell goods and services, and also financial literacy, where people earn income by working. The first thing we'll do is we'll get a sense of what the kids actually know about entrepreneurship. And we'll do a pre-assessment. We call it an interest ticket. And it'll be a simple strip of paper that says, what is an entrepreneur? And as teachers, we'll read these questions to the kid because, again, a lot of our kids in the classroom are on individualized education plans or IEP, so they struggle with reading. We'll ask the question, what is an entrepreneur? Is it A, someone who works in a hospital, B, someone who starts their own business, or C, someone who teaches at a school? And it shows some of the things are the depth of knowledge questioning as well as the Bloom's taxonomy. We'll ask the question, have them circle the answer, collect it, get a sense of what the kids know for basics of being an entrepreneur. There's some questions you can ask. If you could start any business, what would it be? Why did you choose that particular business? And how would your business help people or make their lives better? A couple questions. You can query the class for some answers to that question. How are we going to pick the interest for these kids? I found some videos online that were targeted towards 8-year-olds, and I wanted to show multicultural approaches to entrepreneurship for an 8-year-old. I found a video of a kid in Cincinnati who makes wood burning coasters for local restaurants. And then I found 4 African-American brothers who have a cookie business somewhere in the United States. And then the 8-year-old girl who has started her own, African-American girl who started her own fashion design. And again, when this is a PDF, but when this is uploaded, these links are active. So you'll be able to go in and click and actually see the videos. Then after that, we'll have the kids go in. We'll have a collection of magazines where they'll break up in pairs to engage the students. They can find some pictures of people possibly having their own business, but engaging basically in business transactions. We'll do that for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and wrap up the lesson. That's the first lesson. And again, we'll do that. I'll pass out the paper again. I'll give the same paper and say, okay, now what is an entrepreneur? I'll ask the same question, get a copy of them, see how many of them actually got the correct answer for being a B for starting your own business. That's the first baseline. Next day, I envision we'll come in and we're going to dive in. And the question will be, find this here. This features the YIPPEE speaker, Marissa. I've already confirmed that she can come to the school sometime in mid-October. Same standards being based there. For this one, we'll do a pre-assessment and we'll ask the students to go get their dry erase boards and their marker and explain that today's lessons focus on the concept of perseverance. Whether you're in business or in life, we all need to persevere. And we're going to talk about that. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to bring, there's a very good book out there. Now, we all know the story of Humpty Dumpty, but there's a follow-up book that a guy wrote about 5 or 6 years ago, written by, his name is on there, actually on the video. But anyway, really cool book. It's called Humpty Dumpty, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again. If you know the book, this is about Humpty Dumpty falling off the wall, losing his confidence to climb back up that ladder and get back on the wall and sit. And so throughout the course of the story, he gains his confidence back. And not only does he gain his confidence back, he breaks out of his egg and flies away. So it's a great book to show how you can rise above your challenges. I thought it tied in good with actually going to a rock climbing event the next day. But we're going to watch this. We're going to make this interactive and watch this 3.5-minute video on YouTube. But the book is also available in hardcover. All right. So that's the first thing. And then we'll turn it over to Marissa for her YIPPEE interactive storytelling. She's coming to Howie to talk about persevering in life and in business, which will be about a half-an-hour presentation. We'll wrap it up. And for closure, we'll ask, can you name or draw a picture of up to 3 famous people who are known for their perseverance? for those kids, again, a lot of these kids are on IEPs in our classroom. They may have trouble spelling or writing words, so they can draw a picture of LeBron James or someone else they might know who's successful. They'll collect the tickets for evaluation. And then the last one is on Friday, and we'll preview this. We'll talk about, permission slips are already brought in. We'll take care of that. We will already have taken care of the busing, the CMSD. And then I'm looking at this being a Friday event.
Yeah.
Where I have the whole day up. They're going to come in.
Like a lot of planning that kind of goes into this, in the sense that you're having one speaker come into your classroom, and you're going like the next day literally on a field trip to where Humpty Dumpty fell, right? Climbing up a wall, a rock wall. I do think it's fantastic. I don't think we're going to have time to go through all of the elements here of your lesson.
I just wanted to put that we will board the bus on Friday or whatever day we do. We'll actually go over there and we will do I think it's like a 90-minute actual experience where the kids climbing on the wall, and they will experience having the option to persevere and get to the top of the wall with Annette and Brett, who are Annie and Brett. They'll work over there at Shaker Rocks to help them put it together. And then we'll come back at the end of the day and we'll do an exit ticket for the whole 3 lessons. It's called an alpha board. Again, this will be live in the links. It's actually called an alpha board from A to Z. There's a space there for kids who can't write words. They can write draw pictures or any words related to the last 3 lessons on entrepreneurship, and we can take a look at it as a review for what they learned.
I think it's fantastic, and it sounds like a great unit, and I'm really excited to hear how your students loved all of these, especially the YIPPEE, but the whole 3-day experience, and really bringing entrepreneurship to life, and teaching it in a way that is so unique and I think memorable. So really appreciate you putting this lesson plan together, working with the providers to make sure that they're available for the days that you need them. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I look forward to seeing pictures and hearing about it.
Definitely.
So thank you, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
And I love that it's with second graders, right? So it really is something so fantastic that we're able to help you with teaching some of our youngest learners. So really appreciate you taking the time to create this lesson plan and to present today. So thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
I'm going to now turn it over to Annette Kratowski, who is with Kent State University and has a very special offer for all of our educators on the call today. So Annette.
Thank you, Robin. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. Just so exciting to see the resources, and Cathy and Tim, thank you for the lesson plans you created. They're great models. I hope everyone is inspired and excited by what they created. And that's sort of what the workshop is about that I'd like to share with you. We're hoping that you'd like to do your own lesson plan, take a deep dive into YIPPEE and create a lesson utilizing one or more YIPPEE resources in your own classroom. And most of us have to renew a license, teaching certificate. So essentially the workshop is an opportunity to provide sort of a formal way for you to get professional learning credit for building a YIPPEE lesson plan. So we're offering an opportunity where you can create your own lesson plan, and we can provide support and coaching. And we will, you can earn it by the end of the semester 15 contact hours, or you can pursue a graduate credit hour. So I'm gonna put in the chat a link to a spreadsheet where you can access resources and contact information for this workshop. And I'm also gonna try to share my screen. I'm a Teams person, so
It is. It's like you would think it's just naturally, but when I
one would think, but
I get all flustered too.
all right. Are we there?
Yes.
Awesome. So this spreadsheet, the first tab, lesson plans, has a link to lesson plans that have been created with YIPPEE resources by our YIPPEE ambassador teachers, as well as the awesome educators who took our workshop this past summer. So that includes Cathy and Tim. So you'll see in here links to their lesson plans. And so for example, if you click on the link for Cathy's, you can pull up her lesson plan. But, and now I want to go back. And,
I think up at the tab. I think you
but-
want to go back to the tab.
I do, but I'm not seeing, yeah, here. How about, do you see it now?
Yes.
Awesome. So, we have all links to all those model lesson plans here. And, but you can also access the lesson plans as Robin was showing you. You can look at the resources that they were reviewed and see their lesson plans posted there. As you're doing a search and a review in the YIPPEE platform and you access different resources, you'll be able to see if someone's created a lesson plan. But all of the ambassador and summer workshop lesson plans all sort of follow this rubric. So the rubric, as sort of Tim was walking you through his, you'll see where they highlight the materials or the actual resource in YIPPEE. And then there's a listing of the lesson. There's a sort of description overview of the lesson and the workflow. And then you'll see links to the actual standards, a listing of the standards that are addressed. There's information in the lesson plans about assessment and measurement, and then sort of the learner interaction, the activities that actually sort of comprise the lesson. And then finally, when you finish your lesson plan, the final requirement for earning the contact hours or the graduate credit would be to upload your lesson plan to YIPPEE. So,
And then can I ask a quick question? I just noticed we have a lot of educators who are not from Ohio. Can they just add their state and their restriction, or is this limited to Ohio
no,
educators?
absolutely, it's for everyone. So we actually we can do it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to try to do that while we're talking, but we'll edit the spreadsheet accordingly so that it doesn't reflect just Ohio. We will ask that you note in your lesson plan, under your name, that you also note the state where you are creating the lesson plan to be implemented. So that's sort of what guides your lesson plan development. And then if you're interested in pursuing this opportunity, you just need to register online. And then once you register, you can let us know if you just want to pursue the contact hours or if you actually want to pursue the graduate credit. In order to earn the graduate credit hour, it appears on your transcript. Kent State will issue you a transcript. And so to do that, it actually has to be a course. So we have to charge a graduate credit tuition fee of $165, but the contact hours to earn that certificate, it's free. My contact information is in here. The projects are due by 11:59 p.m. on December 11th. So you have, most of the fall to do that, before holiday break. I'm happy, and you can contact me at that email. I'm happy to meet virtually or do a phone call if you want to talk about the lesson plan development. I'm also happy to give you feedback as you're working and respond to drafts. And then Robin is available as well with YIPPEE questions. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions? And if you think of any questions, you can just always email me after this as well. We don't have a deadline to register. So if it's something you kind of want to think about and see how your school year is going and then jump in, or you go to Enspire in October and you're inspired to do this, then you can register then.
That is a perfect segue for me to introduce Eileen Frankel from the Young Entrepreneur Institute to speak a little bit about Enspire. But before I turn it over in that, I just wanted to thank you. I think this is a really great opportunity for our educators and for YIPPEE. So we appreciate your partnership. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Annette. I am so thrilled to share with you the opportunity to learn with us virtually and in person at the Enspire conference. This is the 9th year of the Enspire conference, and it just keeps getting better. I'm going to share with you some of the wonderful details. Hang on. Why does it's everywhere until it's not. 1 second.
Because you need it, right?
There
This
we Exactly. There we go. So the conference is 3 days in October, Thursday, October 19th, Friday, October 20th, and Saturday, October 21st. Thursday is our virtual day after school. Friday is an in-person day, also after school, held at University School in Hunting Valley. Saturday is our live in-person day for a longer time, held at Cleveland State University. Don't worry about parking. We've got you covered. Valet parking is going to be included at all in-person events. So we have fantastic speakers, hands-on workshops, one focusing on artificial intelligence, one focusing on teaching creativity and ideation. If you attend all of the sessions, you will be eligible to get certified in teaching ideation. Of course, peer-to-peer presentations, YIPPEE providers, live, YIPPEE points awarded, take-home tools for your classroom, giveaways, and more. This is a lineup of our speakers. We have Ron Clark as our keynote on Saturday. We are thrilled. He's the founder of the Ron Clark Academy, which is an award-winning and really exemplary school in Atlanta, Georgia. He has terrific results and wonderful stories to share about his success at his school. Jane Fisher and Beth Slazak are from the Creative Education Foundation. They're going to be leading the creativity workshops. And Justin Wilcox, who is the founder of a program called Teaching Entrepreneurship. He runs excellent online learning activities. He's going to be leading our virtual AI session on Thursday. Leon Bibb is going to be our announcer. We know he's lots of fun. We have some testimonials on our website, which if you want to take a peek and look at those, we'll share. But we are thrilled to talk to you about the opportunity for Enspire, the registration, thanks to our sponsorship from YIPPEE. The registration fee is only $20 for Enspire, but I am going to give you an even better offer, early bird. I just put it in the chat. Early bird is our promo code for Enspire until September 1. If you register for Enspire using the promo code early bird, you will have complimentary registration. Thanks, Evan, for posting in the chat the link to register. It's on our YEI website. You can also get there directly through inspireconference.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Eileen. And I just want to quickly mention that we have 2 more upcoming power hours in September, which will be held before the October Enspire conference. September 7th, we're going to be having a workshop on the entrepreneur curriculum. And later on in September, we're going to be having a workshop on the entrepreneurship career readiness pathways. So look for announcements for both of those. Also wanted to mention that for coming today to this particular power hour, if you use the code AUG15PH, in YIPPEE, you will receive an extra 250 points that you can use to purchase any of the products on YIPPEE, including the ones that we went over today, or any one of your choice. And then lastly, Eileen, if you could talk about the special thing that we have for the survey today.
Thanks, Robin. We value your feedback, and we want to make these power hour sessions meaningful, relevant, and appropriate for you. So we have a survey. Evan is going to put the link in the chat. If you could take 5 minutes and fill out that survey, please, we would greatly appreciate your feedback on what you think about the power hour, and if you have any suggestions for future events and future content. We've got 3 Starbucks gift cards that we're going to give away randomly to people who complete the survey. So if you needed a little incentive, we've put that together for you.
And we do really read every single comment, and I keep track of every single idea that you guys provide for us. We want to make these, like Eileen said, relevant for you. So what better way than to ask you what you want, or maybe would consider putting something together. So please take the time to fill that out. It does not take a lot of time. But I do appreciate everyone coming today, and a special thank you to all of our presenters and all of the educators who wrote lesson plans in advance so that we can offer a fall lesson plan course with our partners at Kent State to even get more lesson plans. We can see how that is done and really help everyone spread the entrepreneurial mindset and skill set. If you have any questions or comments, I am going to stay on. I didn't see any yet, but I am more than happy to stay on and answer anyone's questions or comments or concerns. And if not, hopefully we will see you on September 7th for our entrepreneur workshop. Thank you all for spending the hour with us today. Really appreciate it.
How about a little love for Robin and her beautiful hosting of these events?
Yeah,
She does it so
exactly.
gracefully.
Try to
Thanks,
keep it
Robin.
an hour so that you guys keep coming back. I'm telling the truth.
We are right on time, 4:59.
Okay, well, I think we can stop recording if you would, please.